guys? It's John McNamara, host, Runnin Vegas. We're talking local sports, business, real estate. If you guys like what you see, subscribe, follow us on Runnin Vegas Podcast. Today I got my co-host, Mr. Ryan Pulliam, in the house. We got a big week.
Big week.
This is the UNLV Mountain West Championship preview show.
It's a big one.
Yeah. So tell me your thoughts.
Well, obviously, I'm
kind of surprised to get in.
A little bit. Some things had to happen to make sure that we were able to get in. Some dominoes fell, and then there's some, kind of some things that are a little bit controversial, I guess, in some people's minds to get us in. But for the most part, I mean, when we talked at the beginning of the season, this is the matchup that we thought was going to happen: Boise State versus UNLV in the Mountain West Championship game. And I'm stoked that we're there, especially the last year that the conference is the way it's been for since the WAC kind of dissolved. So it would be great to win this game and go out on top.
Yeah, I think you called it. I don't think I had UNLV in the Mountain West Championship game, so good call by you. A lot of things went well this year, which was awesome. Just really cool. The third Mountain West Championship game in a row. So I hope we don't turn into the Buffalo Bills and just keep losing these. But pretty impressive. Gamon, great first year.
Absolutely.
And some of those losses or some of those wins in the beginning, like Miami, Ohio actually looks like a good team now. UCLA has definitely gotten better as the season progressed. But yeah, it's just exciting that they got in at the last minute, so to speak.
Right.
It came down to the metrics that nobody understood. So yeah, I'm fired up for Friday night against Boise, and there couldn't be a better team. If there's any team I want UNLV as a homer to win, it would be against Boise, because we're 0-3 or 0-4 the last 2 years, right? Or 48 months, whatever it is. So to me, this is a big game.
Absolutely it is. And, it's on their turf, and I just checked the weather. It looks like it's going to be snowing, like 85% chance of snow. So one way to cover that Smurf turf up is by painting it white. So hopefully that'll be a little bit better. But yeah, this would be a good kind of feather in the cap to end the Mountain West Conference as we know it, and to send them sailing to the pack, whatever it's going to be, with a loss to UNLV.
All right, well, hopefully we wear the white jerseys.
There we go.
All right, so first question. It's a lot of controversy, like you said.
Yeah.
Should UNLV and Boise even have made this game? Because you could give New Mexico and San Diego State the same statement, right, of the Mountain West Championship game. What are your thoughts? Did the best two teams get into the championship game, or do you think one got left out, or both got left out?
It was tough, and obviously I feel for San Diego State and New Mexico, because both of them probably had a decent claim for it. Boise hasn't been the best team as of late, although they've been playing with their second string quarterback, so you kind of got to give them a little bit of a little bit of grace there. But I do believe that the best two teams in the conference are playing for the championship, and at the end of the day, that's what the viewers want, that's what the fans want, and that's what the media wants.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I would have them both in as well. I think anybody could make that claim that they should be in. I wish we had more time. We had like a 4-game playoff or something. That'd be awesome. That'll never work because TV and all that, right? But and I wish we had played San Diego State too, because I feel like UNLV would have won that game. But yeah, it's I think the best two teams are in, and yeah, the big thing was the head-to-head. UNLV 0-2, but since it went to a 4-game tie, it went to the metrics. What are your thoughts? Should Mountain West go back to the head-to-head, or keep using the metrics, or another system in place?
Well, I think this is better than the way they had in the past. Was they had two divisions, and the winner of each division advanced on to the Mountain West Conference Championship, and I think that really didn't. I don't believe that was fair, because if you're in a division that maybe Boise dominates, you're never going to get the opportunity. So now them opening it up to the best record in conference, I think is the best way to do it. Now the head-to-head, I do believe, is the best way to do it if all the teams played one another, and if that doesn't happen. You and I were out a couple of weeks ago and we talked about scoreboarding, right? You got to kind of have to sometimes go to some metrics and some scoreboards to try to figure out who is the best out of the four if you don't have the head-to-head matchup. And I think New Mexico's lost to San Jose State and barely beating UNR. Probably kicked them out, and San Diego State's lost to Hawaii, but they beat Boise State, so that's kind of tough. So I do believe that head-to-head at the end of the day is the best because, hey, I beat you, I should be in. When all the teams don't play one another, I think you have to have a fallback system, and I believe the metrics.
Yeah.
I mean, sitting here as we're in the game, I think, yeah, it's great. If I was down in the 619 or the Burke, I don't know if I'd be saying the same thing. Head-to-head, exactly.
Yeah, I like the metrics. I think it's smart, especially in G5.
Right.
Because I know there's a lot of complaining about it, but the thought process behind it is get the best two teams to play each other because that gives the best opportunity. Because even let's use an example, and UNLV gets a different year, but UNLV's out. I know we're homers, but we still want the best Mountain West team to always get in the playoffs because that money trickles down to the conference.
100%.
So it makes all the difference in the world to put the best two metric team because that's the same metrics that the college football committee uses to add teams. So I'm 100% a component of the metrics, and maybe you can tweak it here and there. It's unbiased, but it does. I think it's the smartest play because you're. Great example, the ACC.
Right, with Duke in
Duke?
Miami.
Makes no sense,
None
right?
whatsoever.
And they may, if Duke wins this game, the ACC may not have a team in the college football playoffs.
Which would set the whole thing just, kablooey, because they have the whole reason this thing was brought up is to make sure that all the major conferences were able to have representation.
Right.
But yeah, how do you count if UNLV wins? How do you count an 11-2 team versus what they're 6-7-2
Yeah.
or whatever they would be? I think it's tough. And going back to should we be here? I do believe also when we're talking about metrics, we had the best overall record of any of the teams. So that obviously accounted for something with the metrics.
Yeah.
So it's tough. I mean, these are the things that in a perfect world it'd be maybe 16 teams and go from there. But
So I have a bonus question for you. I thought about this on the way over. Because there's a lot of because I'm a Notre Dame fan too. I don't know if I've breaking this to you. I'm not just UNLV.
It's all good.
Okay. Grew up watching Notre Dame, and now there's controversy. They may not make the playoffs of things. I think they're in because it's Notre Dame and they bring in a lot of money.
100%.
Okay, you're thinking it. I saw your face. I knew you were thinking that.
absolutely.
Well, let's say a world they don't make it, right? And it's not even Notre Dame. It's BYU. It's Miami. There's some really good teams that I feel like deserve a shot at the national championship that are getting left out. So I'm kind of giving my answer right now. But do you think that after this year, with all what has been going on, do you think college football should expand to 16, 24 teams? It's been pretty big in the news lately. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think 24 would be a lot. I think you'd get some diluted play. The first weekend of games would be probably pretty diluted of the talent level. But with these power conferences that are 20 teams deep, they're all just beating up on each other, and it's tough to find out who actually is the better team. So when you're thinking about the SEC, which has been the perennial powerhouse in college football, I mean, how many teams do they get in versus
Right.
the ACC or maybe a little bit of a lesser conference? So I just don't know if 24 would be good. I think 16, adding 4 more teams, because this year's a perfect example. While there's so many on the bubble that could be in if there was an additional 4 teams, I think 16 would probably be the sweet spot, and that would be ideally, in my opinion, the best way to go.
Best way? I like expansion. I would like 16. I actually like 24. I like the idea. I also love college basketball.
Yeah.
But they have 68 teams out of 300 that go to the tournament. And I think there's 130, give or take, football teams. So I think the 24 is kind of cool. That's how the FCS does it. I
That's
low-key love FCS playoff football.
Oh, for sure. And that's been the model. I mean, that's kind of the model that everybody wanted to go to when the FBS was happening.
It's cool football. You get a true national champion through that, I think, as well, right?
Absolutely.
There's no... but I like the component of the top 24 because you basically get top 25 teams. It's also opportunities for more G5 schools get in. Potentially 2 or 3 a year could get in using that system. What I would not be a fan of, and I think this is, and you kind of alluded to this, there is potential of SEC says, hey, we want 6 teams in. Big Ten gets 16 teams. These automatics.
Right.
Get rid of the automatics unless you win your championship. Conference championship, excuse me, and top 24 maybe it doesn't matter anymore. But I'm not a fan of the automatic. I just want the top 24 best teams. The best G5 gets in, sure, keep that in because I like the underdog. But in college football, it's tough. College football versus basketball is a different animal, even though we have seen that kind of shift in basketball lately.
Right, exactly.
These SEC and Big Ten teams, they almost have like NBA teams now. It's crazy. They just shoot threes the whole time. It's like,
Well,
and they make them.
and you see now that we're playing when we go to play bigger schools. When we went to Notre Dame a few years ago, those athletes are just bigger athletes.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're playing SEC athletes, and even a few of the kids that we brought in from those power conferences, they're big. And so, yeah, you get a smaller school, they're just going to out physical and outpower. I mean, football is that, like you said, in terms of the difference between basketball, where anybody can kind of get hot, anybody can, hot hand, make some baskets and go. Football is if you dominate one side or the other of the line, it's
almost over. It's very tough. If the line, and you and I talk about this. As soon as the game starts, any game I watch in football, I watch the offensive defensive line. And 80% of the time, I can predict who the winner is going to be in the first quarter, first 5-10 minutes of the game, unless turnovers happen or something like that. But it's
just by who's dominating it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because it just wears the other team down at the end of the day. So, what are your thoughts as UNLV finished the season? I had you on, I think, 5-6 weeks ago.
Right.
What's your thoughts of how they finished, and what would you say are your surprises end of the year here?
So, I mean, I thought they finished strong. We got the football gods were kind to us for the Utah State game with the kid missing so many kicks. Even the New Mexico loss, AC apparently had the flu, so it wasn't Jordan's flu game. He still played well, but he wasn't Anthony.
Yeah.
And so I think that could have probably been a win for us had he been fully healthy. But the biggest surprise to me was how well we played on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, when we talked about it at the beginning of the season, that was our biggest concern. When we spoke in the middle of the season, we saw some evidence that should have been our biggest concern. And how they kept Hawaii to 10 points, I mean, I think that was my biggest surprise of the season, was them keeping University of Hawaii, Timmy Chang and his air raid offense to 10 points. So kudos to either the offensive game plan for running those plays to extend the drives and making sure that the defense wasn't on the field as much, and if Gunther has maybe made some adjustments and is doing a little bit better. The defense looks like they're still giving up 1 or 2 big plays a game, but they're not giving up the 8 or 10 which they were before, and you're getting gashed on the defensive end.
Yeah. I know last time we spoke, I thought they were going to have a loss. I thought it was going to be Hawaii. The dark horse team was New Mexico. It ended up flipped. But yeah, the surprise too, they dominated the Hawaii game. That was really impressive. And as much as the New Mexico game, it sucks that we lost the game. I think we're seeing that New Mexico is actually a really good team.
Absolutely.
And after that game, there seemed like there was a switch. Defense got way better, started getting better after the game. It seems like they were playing more assignment football. It seems like the pro-style defense is more complicated. And that was my concern. You and I were talking let's just play a simple defense and we have great athletes and just. I was worried we were going to get some silly losses. We ended up not.
Right.
It actually ended up working well with our schedule in the beginning of the year. But yeah, the biggest surprise for me was dominating Hawaii and the defense. I mean, I was literally on this show. I think I did one on my own one time. I'm like, fire Paul Gunther. So it shows what I know.
Yeah.
Because they've done a great turnaround this last month. It's been really impressive. I'm glad they were able to figure it out. But yeah, it's a good end of the year. Okay. Big question of the day.
Oh, man.
Who do you got? Do you got Boise State or UNLV winning this game?
So I'm obviously a homer, but I have UNLV go 5 win. I just think that it's due. Law of averages say it's due. I mean, we've lost, haven't beaten Boise State, I think, since the 70s.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. So I just think, the way that, again, making the adjustments on defense, if we play that well on defense, give up one or two, but if we can kind of extend those drives, it's been really cool seeing, Jet really take off during that UNR game. Got a look at a little bit of the Wildcat with JoJo Earl.
I've been loving the Wildcat with JoJo. Get him the ball. He's explosive.
He's a playmaker, and that was he's one of the guys we talked about at the beginning of the year, and he just really hadn't been featured a whole lot in the offense. So I'm glad that they're using his athletic ability and his playmaking ability to move the ball. But I do believe the only thing I'm a little concerned about is the weather. Last year, same thing, Mountain West Conference Championship. It was cold, it was snowy in Boise, and it messed up with our game a little bit. I do think that if the weather is tough, we keep it on the ground, and with that running back by committee led by Jet, by Jaden Thomas, we're going to win the game.
Gas up the Jet.
Let's go.
Hey, I don't know. We played pretty well in Wyoming. I was,
That's a fair point.
Maybe we can. Maybe that's our secret weapon. We'll see. All right. So obviously, love UNLV. I'm going Boise State by 3. Win by 3.
All right.
I agree. The defense has been playing better. I would give Jet a ton of carries and touches. He's just explosive. I love the take on JoJo Earl. Have some plays created for him. AC's just always clutch.
Right.
The difference now is I feel like we do have a chance in this game. Mm-hmm. Where before going into the first game of the season, I felt like we were going to lose that because the defense just looked so bad. But with defense going, their quarterback, Boise's quarterback, Maddox, he is banged up. They're saying he's going to play. I kind of feel like he's still hurt. Yeah. I think they're going for a championship here, and that's why he's playing. So typically we have not been good against the run this year. They're a great running team. Mm-hmm. Do the best of their ability to stop the run, play man, get Maddox moving. We've done a pretty good job with pressure. We got to get Maddox moving around, especially since he's injured or hurt. So I'm picking Boise to win. With that said, though, I think this is the biggest game, and I know they're downplaying it. This is literally like the biggest game in history for UNLV football. The Pac teams are leaving. This opportunity is gone forever.
Right.
After Friday. So it's either Boise and the Pac have the rights to the Mountain West forever in terms of, talking shit,
mm-hmm.
So to speak. Or Mountain West gets it done through UNLV. We win a championship. We have them Pac and we have the rights moving forward. We beat you guys. Good luck in the new Pac. So
I love it.
I think it's a big game, and I think they're downplaying it a little bit from what I'm hearing. Then that's probably just good coach speak. So
right.
Awesome. So what are your thoughts? So the Reno game, mm-hmm. and I'm surprised you didn't show up usually in your blue. What were your thoughts on Mr. Jeff Choate, the Reno head coach, about Lamborghinis versus trucks and Las Vegas versus Reno?
Since you've been giving me a lot of grief because I come from work a lot of times. we had to turn the Type blue. We had to turn the Type blue into Rebel Red today, and thanks for VegasVarsity.com for the running quitters. So I thought it was weird. There's certain things, bulletin board material and trying to get your team fired up. But apparently Jeff Choate, since he's been in the backwoods of Idaho or wherever he grew up, doesn't realize what we have evolved from. I mean, Sam Boyd was a joke the last few years. I mean, it's shocking with the facilities that we had, the locker rooms out there, playing on pretty much a dirt lot, that we got John Robinson out there at all when he came out. So it was a weird thing. And if you have little brother syndrome already, it's not a good look when you're complaining about other things as well. I mean, obviously, Las Vegas is a brand. It's a national brand. We've embraced it, and we're going with it. I'm sorry that the biggest little shithole in the world is not as exciting as Las Vegas, and it doesn't draw the attention. So I thought it was just weird. It was one thing to kind of compare the cities and the culture of the cities, but when he got to Dan Mullen, I thought that was a little weird. I really hadn't heard coaches talk about other coaches like that. It was very questionable.
Yeah, it felt very victim mentality, and I like the Jeff Choate hire. I want Reno to be good. I like the rivalry. I think when both teams, basketball and football, when they're both playing well, I think it's great. Mm-hmm. So but yeah, it kind of came off victim mentality, and it didn't make a lot of sense. Definitely does not understand the history of these programs, because Reno has had it all until about 5 years ago.
Right.
So the tides have turned, and he just became a coach. He hasn't been at Reno for 15 years. So he knows exactly what he was getting himself into. And then the whole Lamborghini versus trucks thing, I'm like, if you switch the cities and we're in the cold, nobody's driving a Lamborghini. We're a lot of the UNLV fans are the people that show up. Most of them are blue collar people.
We're a 3-shift town. We're a hardworking town of service industry employees. I mean, yeah, you have a little bit of some people have money here, but for the most part, you're absolutely right. You look at the tailgates at UNLV, at Allegiant, they're trucks, they're people grilling hot dogs out there, tossing a football around. This isn't some elitist institution like Stanford or Harvard or anything along those lines. We're a blue-collar city, and the team has embraced that mentality, and it's unfortunate that that city up north just couldn't realize that.
Yeah. My favorite part of the whole thing, and I think what he was really trying to do is, like, get NIL sponsorship, to get money, which I totally understand.
Yeah, I get that too.
But he was going on a rant. I don't know if you noticed this. He was going on a rant how he drives like a Ford 150 and a Dodge and trucks.
Then behind him?
And behind him it said Chevy.
Yeah.
Bro, no, they are giving you money. You better be driving Chevys all there. At least pretend you're driving one.
I'm sure that NIL money.
Oh my God!
Up real quick.
Hey, we'll drive Chevys.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll take that Chevy money.
We're totally, thanks Cliff Finley. Make sure we drive the toes.
Yeah, but yeah. So, what do you think about like? There's no reporting about the recruiting class because obviously the Mountain West championship game. But let's dive a little into. So, National Signing Day was yesterday. Notre Dame had the number 2 class, and UNLV had the number 2 G5 recruiting class, and the number 1 for Mountain West next year.
Right.
Or
I like the way
2026.
I like the way they played. I like the way they framed that.
Yeah. That was clever. But what do you think of the class?
I'm stoked about it. Best class in school history. I think we were ranked 57th, I think, nationally. So for us, it's awesome. And I love that the kids are wanting to come here. It's amazing what winning does to a culture and an institution. People know that, hey, we're not coming here to rebuild. We're coming here to win championships. And when you can sell that to a kid, I think it's a lot easier, especially when they come to the Bright Light City of Las Vegas, walk into Allegiant Stadium. I love that we are recruiting at a high level right now, because that was one of the digs on Dan Mullen, was he couldn't recruit to the SEC when he was at Florida. So I love that we're doing this. I'm stoked for the coaches. I'm stoked for the players, and I'm excited to see a couple of these kids come on board. Yeah, for sure. And to give you guys context too, I love recruiting. So 57th in the nation probably doesn't sound good, but that is like if you're top 60, that's considered like Power 4 recruiting class. So it's a big haul, and. Then I'll just go over a couple names because there was 24 signees. We're not going to go through them. That could be a whole show in itself. But the highest ranked quarterback that is signed with UNLV ever, Derek Garcia. 2 wide receivers, Hardin and Bell, that were top of the class. That look super athletic. Excited about them. And then on defense, it was Print Fox, defensive tackle, and linebacker Jordan Njoku. Those were our top high-rated guys. There's plenty more that are really good. My favorite part of this class, which will not be talked about probably anywhere, they signed 6 offensive linemen, and they're all monsters. I love it. Well, it's funny. I only picked skills players because I figured you were going to talk about the line. So I was like, okay, well, if I want to chime in on any skills player. I'm too
much of a line guy. But, these guys, it reminded me when Sanchez first got here, and Sanchez did the best of his ability to recruit big linemen, not as highly recruited as the guys that are coming in. And they brought in, I won't mention it because somebody's going to know who they are, but he brought in like 3-4 big guys, like right off the first 2 recruiting classes, and we could just run power football. Like we could run on anybody. I remember going to SC, and they're running on them. And I am loving the vision of Dan Mullen that he's going to probably be doing the exact same thing, because the running game has never been the same since Sanchez left, and we're having a good year now. Jet Tom, I'm not trying to take that away from them, but I feel like it could get a whole nother gear if we can because you can see it when you see the Boise State offensive line, they just move us. and that's another good sign where I don't think Dan's leaving anytime soon, because you don't go get 6 offensive linemen. These guys aren't playing for 2 to 3 years.
Right, exactly. You have to build that program up and build those guys up, because they're going to be behind bigger kids. But you mentioned Derek Garcia. I'll touch on him because I was actually, I don't know if it was a recruiting trip or what. He was at Allegiant. Saw him kind of on the field before the game. I mean, this kid's straight out of Central Casting. Tall. The way he threw the ball was just money. You was kind of running around on the field, just messing around, and it was exciting to see. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what he can do, and Dan Mullen's history of really developing quality quarterbacks. Yeah. It'll be really exciting what this kid can do in the future under Mullen's leadership.
Yeah, he was higher ranked than and rankings don't necessarily matter, right? But he was more highly ranked than Maivea, who's the QB at SC right now, and he's more athletic than him too. So a lot of upside with him. I'm excited. I don't think he probably plays next year, but the following year I could see him being in the competition to be in 2027 and be in competition for the job. So excited about that. And let's move to basketball.
Okay, let's go. Running Revs.
I think we need a whole. We got no time left. All right, what do you think about the beginning of the season?
I think it's kind of like a preview for a blockbuster movie that you can't wait to see. And the preview keeps getting longer. They keep releasing the previews. We just haven't ever been able to see the film yet, just with the limited roster. So I'm still excited. I'm cautiously optimistic about conference play, but it's tough not being able to have that full team together.
Yeah, and the schedule's been really hard. And some people that are homers here, and I watch their shows, are going off about UNLV, like, terrible start. This is easily the most impressive roster I've seen since Dave Rice. Like, I am so hyped. It's night and day. And this is one of the hardest schedules. I mean, all the teams, well, not all teams. UT Martin and Montana should have won, right?
Absolutely.
But those are the beginning of the year. It's a brand new team. And I was not... we've had this conversation. I was not attached to the beginning of this year. I'm like, if they go 500 in non-con, fine. But that's not going to get you in the NCAA tournament. So
that's it.
It doesn't really matter. They just need to grow chemistry, build. Big win in Memphis. They were dominant in that game. And like you said, they're out. They're starting point guard and center, and they don't have great size. So
no, I mean, you got to think, in those games, especially the Maryland game, we should have won. Bama, well, obviously, it's a much better team. But
Bama's like an NBA team.
When you're playing, I mean, Tark was able to play the hard way back in the late '70s, but those were all quality dudes. Like the Kiwi, Walter Jones probably wouldn't be seeing the floor if we had a healthy roster. You got guys that probably wouldn't be playing a whole lot so it's 7 or 8 dudes. You can't rely on those guys, and they play hard. Every shot is contested. They play well on defense. That's going to break down towards the end of the game. They're going to kind of lose their legs. They're going to get tuckered out, and that's when the teams have been kind of able to put us away on the losses that we've had.
It's been so much fun to watch, because even as fun as Dave Rice teams were back in the day, they were not running the way this team is running. I wasn't around for Tark, so this is, and you would know better than I am, so I'm not. But, like, it's been, even these losses have been like, that was fun to watch.
Well,
we put up 90 points. We were putting up 100 points. Like, I have never seen this in UNLV basketball, and people are complaining. And I'm like, the potential of this is insane.
I mean, Memphis was the perfect like picture of what UNLV basketball is, and every single coach since Tark has come in saying, hey, we're going to play Runnin' Rebel basketball. I mean, if it was Otzelberger, if it was Rice, if it was Kruger, and you saw DJ Thomas dribbling on the top of the key for 25 seconds of the shot clock the last 2 years. So It is exciting to watch these guys play. There's a couple guys who are really studs, and I'm excited to see how their growth continues throughout the remainder of the season.
So who's your favorite player to watch, and what's your surprise player?
So my favorite player, I call him, I'm Gumby Slam It, and that is Tyron Jones.
I love Tyron Jones.
I saw him at a football game on the concourse. I'm like, oh, this kid just lanky. Next year he'll be a stud. And his ball handling, his rebounding, his shot blocking, the ability to finish at the rim has been awesome. I like Ike Williamson popping in and being able to play point guard while Miles Che is out. And then Gibby has been a real surprise for me. 2 surprises that are on the opposite side. Howie Fleming Jr. got to step up. Amari Hamilton, you need to kind of get out of your own head. We need those guys to play big, and they're just not doing it.
Yeah, Hamilton needs to not foul, please.
Exactly.
You are the best guy on the court. Please stop fouling. Yeah, my favorite players, Gibbs, Lawhorn, super explosive. Tyron Jones, same thing. That guy's got NBA potential.
Absolutely.
He keeps. I mean, he's just bouncy. He reminds me of Jones, the other Jones back in the day. They used to play what?
Derek Jones Jr.
Derek Jones.
Airplane mode.
Tyron Jones is explosive. So hopefully we get him next year. But when his game comes together, I'm glad that Pastner is playing him. Surprise, obviously, I have a funny surprise. Barnaby.
But I was great. Thank you for mentioning him.
The guy puts the bat. I mean, he's the least athletic. No offense, Barnaby, but he's probably the least athletic guy on this team. One of them, anyways. And he just puts him back up, gets rebounds. I think, as much as we have all these injuries, Williamson and Barnaby probably would not have played, and we are totally saying that they deserve minutes on this team going into conference play, which I think long term is going to help us because Che and Stevens will be back, hopefully by the first game per the reports. So I think we got a lot to look forward to in conference play.
Absolutely, I'm looking forward to it as well.
But we ran out of time.
We did.
Ryan, thanks for being on, brother.
Hey, my pleasure.
I
Thanks for having
appreciate
me.
you guys. Run Vegas. Take care of yourselves. Go.